Have you ever stopped to wonder what your money is actually worth? Not what you can buy with it, but what it's made of. A few numbers on a screen, a piece of paper with no intrinsic value. Yet, somehow, this illusion fuels every transaction, every nation, every life decision on the planet. But here's the disturbing truth most people never confront. Money no longer represents value. It represents belief, and that shift, quietly engineered over decades, has reshaped the world in ways few truly understand. It's why wealth feels harder to keep, why debt feels endless, and why entire economies can collapse from nothing more than a loss of confidence. Because when belief replaces value, reality itself becomes a financial product. Today, we're uncovering the great financial illusion, how money stopped being real, how power turned perception into profit, and how humanity's greatest invention quietly became its most dangerous addiction. To understand how belief replaced value, we have to go back to a time when money wasn't just a need. For most of human history, value was tangible. Gold, silver, salt, livestock, physical things that held inherent worth. You could touch them, trade them, and their value didn't depend on political promises or digital balances. Gold was especially sacred because it didn't corrode, couldn't be printed, and existed in limited supply. Then came governments and wheat, then the need for control. Carrying gold was cumbersome. States began issuing paper certificates, promising that each note could be exchanged for actual gold, and people believed them. That belief birthed the first illusion, because as long as everyone agreed that paper equaled gold, it worked. But here is the twist. The system didn't collapse when the gold ran out, it collapsed when people stopped believing. And that single realization that belief itself could hold economies together changed everything. The illusion began its evolution in the 20th century. After World War II, global leaders gathered at Bretton Woods in 1944 to rebuild the financial order. The US dollar, backed to be gold, became the anchor of global trade. Every major currency tied its value to the dollar, and the dollar was tied to gold. It was stability, or so it seemed. But beneath that structure, something was already breaking. America was spending more than it could back. Wars, social programs, foreign aid, all financed by printing dollars that no longer matched its gold reserves. Other nations noticed. By the late 1960s, France and others began demanding gold in exchange for their dollars. And in 1971, President Richard Nixon made a fateful decision. He severed the dollar's link to gold entirely. Overnight, money stopped being a claim on something real. It became a claim on trust. This was the birth of fiat currency money. By government decree, the system didn't need gold anymore. It just needed belief. If people accepted that a dollar had value, it did. If not, the illusion would collapse. It was one of the boldest social experiments in history, and it worked. Aguil. Freed from the limits of gold, governments discovered a new superpower: infinite creation. They could print money, borrow without restraint, and inject liquidity whenever the system wobbled. Economists called it monetary policy, but in reality, it was belief management. Inflation became a tool, not a threat. Growth became a mandate, not an outcome. Banks followed suit. Fractional reserve banking, creating money through loans. When you deposit $1,000, the bank can lend out 10 times that amount, creating money from nothing but signatures. In this new system, debt wasn't a burden, it was the product. The global economy transformed from producing goods to producing credit. Corporations thrived on leverage. Governments lived on deficit. Consumers were encouraged to borrow endlessly, told that tomorrow's income would pay for today's desires. And as long as the illusion held that dollars, euros, and yen had stable value, the machine kept running. But illusions always demand more faith than truth can sustain. The cracks began to show in 2008. Decades of cheap credit and financial engineering finally collided with reality. Mortgage-backed securities, complex bets built on belief, collapsed under their own weight. The world discovered that assets worth trillions were backed by nothing more than promises that could never be kept. When the illusion cracked, panic spread. Banks failed. Markets froze. Governments stepped in with the only thing they still controlled: printing more money. Central banks slashed interest rates to zero, then below zero. They bought their own debt. They created quantitative easing, a polite phrase for manufacturing money electronically. The world had crossed the point of no return. Value wasn't just replaced by belief, it was replaced by debt. And every attempt to fix the system required creating even more of it. The illusion survived 2008 but had to cost. Over the next decade, global debt tripled. Wealth inequality exploded as newly printed money inflated asset prices, stocks, real estate, commodities benefiting those who already owned them. The rest were left behind, their wages stagnant while the cost of living soared. Governments congratulated themselves on recovery. Central bankers spoke of stability. But behind the numbers, faith was quietly eroding. Because if money can be created infinitely, what makes it valuable? If central banks can manipulate every boom and bust, what's left of free markets? And perhaps most crucially, every country owes debt to someone else. Who's the real creditor? The answer, of course, is the system itself. The illusion sustains because we all participate. Every paycheck, every mortgage, every digital transaction reinforces the same shared delusion that these numbers represent real wealth. But wealth built on belief is fragile. It only takes a spark of disbelief to unravel it. Since 2020, governments have doubled down on illusion economics, trillions printed overnight. Stimulus checks, bailouts, modern monetary theory promising endless spending without consequence. But every illusion has its cost, and inflation is the bill coming due. Prices rise not because goods are scarce, but because trust is. Once people realize their money buys less each year, the illusion starts to wobble. And the proposed solutions, digital currencies, carbon credits, central bank control, each one promises efficiency, but each one tightens the leash. When money is purely digital and centrally managed, belief is no longer optional. It's enforced. The next evolution of the illusion isn't about value, it's about permission. Look around. The same patterns repeat. In the 1920s, easy credit fueled the Great Depression. In the 2000s, it fueled the housing collapse. Today, it's propping up entire nations. Global debt now exceeds $315 trillion, 3 times the world's GDP. That means for every dollar of real value, $3 of belief exists on top of it. Stock markets hit record highs while small businesses vanish. Currencies fluctuate based not on productivity, but on sentiment. A tweet can move billions in minutes. We are living in the age of monetized belief where confidence, not creation, drives value. And just like every belief system in history, it lasts only as long as people believe in it. First, money's power comes from perception. Once you realize it's not value itself but a reflection of it, you begin to see how easily that perception can be manipulated. Second, every financial system eventually consumes itself when debt outpaces productivity. When numbers grow faster than real goods and services, collapse isn't a possibility, it's a timeline. Third, the most dangerous illusion isn't that money is fake, it's that you have no choice but to believe in it. But knowledge, diversification, and understanding how the system works are acts of quiet rebellion. The great financial illusion isn't just a story about money, it's a story about trust, control, and human psychology. The moment we stopped asking why our money had value was the moment we surrendered that value to others. We live in a world where belief sustains reality. But every belief has a breaking point. The next crisis won't just test markets. It will test faith. So the question isn't whether the illusion will end, it's whether we'll recognize it before it does. If you found this video eye-opening, help others break free from the illusion, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who still thinks money is real. Because understanding how belief replaced value is the first step to reclaiming it.